Going on YouTube? RDAP Dan here, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Hope you all are having a fantastic middle of the week. It's already Wednesday, and 2022 is already almost gone. I don't know about you guys, but this year is hauling butt. As you can see in today's video, we're going to be talking about Montgomery FPC, also known as, you've got the Montgomery Air Force Base over there. So depending on how people call it, they're one and the same, whether you're going to Maxwell Air Force Base or you're going to Montgomery FPC, it's one and the same. So we're going to be doing an update video on the prison camp today. We've got a client that's actually there right now. So we'll be able to give you a little bit of like what the day-to-day operations are, especially post-COVID. And he's freshly in. So we're kind of discuss like your first 30 days in, what to expect. We got an email from him, and then in about 15 or 20 minutes, maybe sooner, one of our clients one of our very first clients way back when, Mike Fresco, he was a police officer who was indicted, something to do with bringing guns across airport security. I don't remember exactly the details. It's been a long time, but he's going to come in and join us live in a few minutes, and he actually did time at Montgomery. So he knows quite a bit about that prison. And we can talk about the contrast of what was different then versus now, what to expect, things to do. And that video is going to be coming up next. So make sure you stay tuned because coming right back at you. What's going on, guys? What's going on, Juan? I see Juan's in the room. What am I seeing here? Oh, this is closing my curtains. Yeah, I'm loving the new studio. For those of you that don't know, we moved from South Florida to over by closer to Middle Florida, over Melbourne, Brevard area, and we moved into a new office, full studio. So we're having a lot of fun over here, doing a lot of different things, presentations, YouTube, podcasting, recording, basically anything we can do to bring content to you guys to get things going. Got Scott Oler. What's going on, Scott? Welcome. Merry Christmas to you too. Scott's one of our longtime clients. So one of our clients just went in to Montgomery. I guess it's been about 2.5, 3 weeks already. Time flies. And, you know, we stay in communication with most of our clients, almost all of our clients, and then some of the individuals that just watch what we're doing. What's going on, Nick? Got Nick in the room. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about this prison, and we'll kind of go over, I'll show you here what the client sent me. I did copy it and paste it into an email, so it wouldn't have any of his personal information in there. So let's make sure none of that is saved. Okay, so I basically asked him to give me, and I'm waiting for some more information to come back from him. I did have some additional questions about the day-to-day over there, but this is what he sent me back so far, if you guys want to check this out. So he's got, in the dorm, we've got 3 computers. At these computers, we log into a system called TrueLinks. Most of you know it as CoreLinks. So if you are communicating with a loved one from the outside to the inside, you're using CoreLinks. But for the inmates, for us, when we're on the inside, we're using what's called TrueLinks. It's the same system. It goes back and forth. It's just on the outside, the corporation is CoreLinks, which they created some kind of a gateway to work with it. And on the inside, it's TrueLinks. So in order to access, he's got 3 computers in the dorm that he's in. And we'll talk about the dorms in a second. There's 3 different dorms over there, over at Montgomery. So in order to log into the system, you got to use your register number. You've got another long number that they're going to give you that you'll have to memorize or write it down. This will be used to log into the system. And then you've got to use your thumbprint. So it's your thumb scan, your register number, and I believe it's called a PAC number, personal identification number. I can't remember the exact name for it. It's been so long. And when you get into the computer there, what you have is you have the option for messaging, music, bulletin board, videos, and you can manage your TrueLinks account. So what does that mean? So what that means is any money that gets sent to you on your books, like let's say your family sends you $300 or $400 and you want to transfer some of that money to your phone, or you want to buy MP3s, or you want to buy, it looks like you can buy movies now. In order to do that, you would log into your TrueLinks account and you can transfer money from your TrueLinks, from your Commissary over to your phone or over into your account in order to purchase music, things like that. So all of that is done through the computer system. And it's crazy here. So like one song, and you can see in here, I don't know if you can read this, but for one song, you're looking at about 24 credits, which is about $2. So 24 credits equals about $2. Movies, you have to purchase a tablet, and we do have a commissary list we're going to look at here in a minute, but in order to purchase the movies, you have to have a tablet, and the movies are 75 credits, and they're one time watching. So you're looking at about, what's that, about $6 for a movie that you can watch one time. That can get pretty pricey pretty fast. Now, they didn't have this when I was in there. There was no tablets or anything in the BOP. And I think it's not every location has access to this. So, you have to check on the locations that have this. Movies I have not purchased are 75. Okay, so it's 15 credits per session for email. So if you're going to log into the system and you want to email loved ones or friends, it used to be 5 cents per minute that you're logged in, but according to what he's saying, it's 15 credits per session. So, a little over $1 per session of logging into your email, which can be good and bad, because when it was 5 cents per minute, if you're a fast typer, that's pretty good. But if you're one of those guys that's, pecking when you type, that 5 cents per minute can rack up pretty quick. And as you can see here, he says when he gets a job, he might get one movie per week with his paycheck. They don't pay very much. The email system, the computer system there, he actually gave a pretty good reference. He says the emails are very 1999 Windows looking. No cut and paste. We do have spell check. We can send multiple. You can send to multiple people. Like, let's say you want to send me an email, your mom, your best friend. You can send like a group email to everybody at the same time. So you can save yourself some time. If you want to send like a general email to all of your contacts, maybe you want to update them with something, or visitation updates, or, don't forget to send me money for the holidays updates. You can do all of that in one email, and you can send it out as a mass email. Like he said in here, when you respond though, you can't respond all. So you would respond to each person individually. You can get on the computers from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Now, obviously, during like mandatory counts, things like that, you're not able to use the computers, or if there's any kind of a lockdown in the prison, sometimes you can't use the computers, especially if you have to be in your assigned area, which would be next to your bunk if they're going to do some kind of a mandatory head count. You get 15 minutes to email. So when you get on a computer, you've got 15 minutes to use it. So there's 3 computers per unit, per dorm, whatever you want to call it. You get 15 minutes to use the computer per email or per session, and then it logs you out after 15 minutes. Then you got to wait 30 minutes, and you can log back in when there's another opening. So basically, and he sent this at 5:05 Central Standard Time, and it took about 3 hours for me to get it from the time that I got it to see the date timestamp on there. All emails are read. Ingoing and outgoing emails can all be read. So you want to make sure. That you're not sending anything that can violate terms, get yourself in trouble. You don't look up other inmates. Don't talk about any type of illegal activity over the email or phone. They can monitor calls. They monitor emails. So you can definitely get yourself in a lot of nastiness if you do that. No images, no attachments, no copy and paste. So when you're sending an email or receiving an email, family cannot attach images. They can't copy and paste. You can't copy and they can copy and paste to an email and send it to you. That's no problem. That's obviously on their own computer, but they can't add images or attachments, and you cannot. So you can't receive attachments. You can't receive any images, and you cannot attach images, and you can't attach any attachments either. So it's basically like a glorified typewriter that's electronic, if that gives you any kind of ideas. Let's see here. Says across the campus, there's an office with a bank of computers. It's rarely occupied. Apparently, just recently, a billionaire was here, spent most of his time in there, even bought his wife or girlfriend a house nearby so she could visit him. Must be nice. Apparently, one computer there will not log you off. It's totally legal and legit. Just for some reason, it doesn't log you off. So I could get in there and find it to work longer. So basically saying when you get on that computer, there's one computer that for some reason doesn't kick you off every 15 minutes. So it's like a snag in the system or a little loophole. So if you get on that computer, apparently you can stay on it for hours if you want to. I don't know that many people that will be on there for that long, but if you're doing legal work, some of you that might be going to trial and you're going to be fighting your case, or you got appeals coming through, you're going to need access to the legal library. You're going to want to get into the system there. I believe there's limited access to what you can access in Pacer. You can do that through the BOP. So if you have an active case, you get more action of what you can look at and what you can see, because you need to be able to get into your own case for whatever you're going to be appealing or trying to fight. Let's see. I can print emails. So you can print emails. So you've got printers. Usually there's a printer in like the library here. I'm not sure where this printer is located at. I'm not sure if it's in his unit. Sometimes they have printers in the units. They usually have them in the law library or the regular library, where you can go in, make copies, print out stuff, things like that. I know there is a copy card, and we'll look at it in the commissary. You have to pay. You get credits that you can use to pay for copies and buy copies and whatnot. To email someone, I have to get them on my contact list. It's very easy. You just need the name, number, and their home address. So when you add your friends and family to the contact list, you want to basically, you're going to want to get their name, phone number, email, things like that. And then you're going to add that to your contact list. And those are that's how you would add somebody into your TrueLinks account that you're going to be either calling or emailing from on the outside. So we'll talk about a little bit over here on commissary. And I feel like there was something else he told me. I asked him what his spending limit is right now. I'm waiting on a response from that, because, the spending limits can change and vary, especially with COVID and what kind of products they have available, what you can do, what you can't do. But this prison facility is located, it's inside of an Air Force base. So a lot of the jobs and whatnot that you'll be doing would probably be maintaining things like the staff housing. A lot of the correctional staff, they have housing there. So for individuals that live quite a ways away, they can use the housing. They stay at the housing. You might have to clean that up from time to time, or the grounds around it. Basically, you have your custody level because you're in a camp. First-time nonviolent offenders have out custody, in custody, where you're not authorized. You don't have to be behind a perimeter fence. So this gives you jobs that you can do that are a little bit different. If you want to see a copy of commissary, here's a commissary list to give you an idea. These are some of the food items that you can buy on commissary. And again, if you see at the top, you see his copy card. I don't know if you guys can see that. It looks like it's pretty big. Copy card, $5.85, and picture tickets, limit to 10 picture tickets. Picture tickets are basically Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. They do pictures where you can do like a picture either with your family if they come to visitation, or maybe you just want to go take a picture of your progress. Maybe you're taking a picture with some friends you made there. And every time you get a picture taken, you have to, so on your receipt, for your commissary, you'll get it's usually a yellow receipt that you'll just rip off. Each one of those is a ticket. So you rip off a ticket, you hand it to the cameraman, and basically you can get 10 of those. Your copy card. It looks like we got Michael joining us now. Let me hop on here and bring in Michael. Give me 1 second, guys. Mike, you there? Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Up there he is. What's going on, my man?
Hello.
Michael Fresco.
La, la, la.
So for those that don't know, I did give an introduction right before. I like your background there. Nice Christmas tree you got there, Mike.
Oh, that old thing?
That old thing. So Mike, you take us back a little bit. Obviously, you did your time at Montgomery as well.
Yes.
But take us back. When did you get indicted?
May 2017.
Wow, man, such a long time. Doesn't that feel like such a long time ago?
Yeah, I was lucky. I got you in the beginning when you didn't have that many customers, so I had your full attention.
Yeah, you did. That was way back.
Talking me down.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what it is. But so I told people, if I remember correctly, you were a police officer that you were bringing guns through airport security checkpoints, correct?
Yeah, it's just another friend of mine who wanted to take guns with him to the Dominican Republic. So I helped him take them down there. It wasn't like I made any money off it. Like it was total of 6 guns, but of course the media made it look like I was running hundreds of guns and making.
What was the actual charge they gave you?
Conspiracy to illegally export firearms to the Dominican Republic.
And the charges, because you were able to do RDAP and you were able to get the time off. So
yeah, the guns fortunately weren't used in the commission of the crime. So luckily I was able to still do RDAP. Because normally you can't do RDAP with a gun charge, but the gun wasn't used in any type of force. They were just like, commerce.
Right. And you were obviously, you were not a felon at that point. You were a police officer. So
yeah.
you're allowed to be in possession of a firearm.
Exactly.
And so you got indicted 2017. How long was your investigation before the indictment? Like, how long did you know about it before you got in trouble? Or did you find out like the day?
I was relieved of duty for about 1.5 years, so I knew they were already investigating. I didn't realize that I was secretly recorded by my ex-friend, so I didn't realize I was definitely going to prison.
Okay.
So they came to my house January 2017 with that letter. I think that letter you said was the scariest letter you've ever seen, if you recall.
Was that the target letter?
The target letter, yeah. They dropped the FBI, delivered it personally to me. Said, hey, listen to this recording. Here's your letter. Get a lawyer.
Man.
And then I had about, then of course we had the attorney. We cooperated fully, and then we made a plea deal. The official charge was.
And you pled guilty, and then you were sentenced to how many months?
Initially, 48.
And tell us a little bit about the time you served there and what that was like.
FPC Montgomery. Well, if you have to go to prison, this is the one you want to go to, because it was like the place is like a college campus. It's got 3 huge housing centers made of red brick, gorgeous big trees, grass everywhere. Baseball field, football field, tennis courts, pickleball, track, band room. They didn't have a weight room because you had a gym area. There it is. Yeah, see those 3 large housing areas there.
So we got the ones that are basically, you got the red peg in the middle. So the one here, the one here, and the one here.
Right. And you see behind it, the north there, you see the baseball field.
Yep.
See to the left, you see the soccer field and track. So I mean, it's a lot of activities you could do. Keep your mind busy. But it was definitely it was a good. If you say, yeah, look at that.
Is this pretty accurate to what the bunks and whatnot look like?
Yeah, that's close. And we actually had real mattresses. One of the few places that had real mattresses, because they had hotels. Because it's on an Air Force base, so they had hotels there, and the Air Force base would donate old mattresses.
What I read, and I don't know if it's accurate or not. Let me go back to the screen for a second. What I read is it used to be used back, I forgot when, a long time ago. There was a section of the military that was it was an African section, an African American section of the military that for some reason they segregated them and housed them there. So it was a very long time ago. Have you ever heard that while you were in there?
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Okay, so that's probably it seems to be true that that's what this barrack in this area was used for.
Yep. The other half of the picture you don't see. There's a desk there with a chair, a couple of lockers. Like to the left of that would be a couple of lockers, a desk and a chair, and a window. And a lot of the windows had a great view of the golf course. Like you didn't get to play in the golf course, but you could see where the officers would play golf, or you could see the
now
field.
At Coleman, it was pretty much the same setup as what we're looking at right here. But some of the units were like that, and then some of the units were there was a third bunk. Or not a bunk, but a third bed, like on the other side of that. Or was yours purely bunk beds like that?
Only 2 bunk beds. Yeah.
Okay, so there's none of them were for 3-man cubes. They were all 2-man cubes.
Yeah, never. Yeah.
So 2-man cube,
Cubes, yeah.
a little desk, a locker, stackable lockers, right? So you had a top locker for the top bunk, a bottom locker for the bottom bunk.
No, they were side by side.
Side by side. Okay. And then also we got
yeah.
We got these are the showers. These are the questions a lot of people, they're like, what is the shower going to be like when I get in there? Am I going to be butt naked in front of a bunch of men? So how accurate does this illustrate what the showers look like in there?
Yeah, we had each floor had 4 showers. You probably had curtains, so you weren't sharing a shower. And one, thank goodness. In the bathroom, you had a couple of stalls as well. So there you go. Except we only had 1 urinal and about two stalls, but it wasn't as crowded there, so
right.
Usually didn't have to wait.
Now, when you were there, how many inmates were there when you were there?
Yeah, that's the thing. I looked it up, and it's like under 400 now. But when I first got there was around 700 something. Then it got all the way up to 1,000. They maxed out the population. It was really crowded. And then by the time I left, it was back down to 700. And now it must be like a ghost town there. I think it has 360 people there.
Yeah, he was telling me when he sent me the message, there was only about 80 guys were there. So I don't know how accurate the BOP's page is, but yeah, 80 guys in there.
There's only 80 now? Total?
Yeah, he's there right now. Yeah.
That is definitely a ghost town.
How were the COs while you were there? Somebody's asking that in the room.
They were laid back. I mean, again, no one's causing any trouble there. The biggest thing was catching people smoking cigarettes and cell phones. So if you kind of just did what you're supposed to do, they left you alone. There was never any harassment.
What was so I read when you go to intake there, did you have to go to like the visitation center and wait for a van to pick you up and then bring you over?
Yeah, since it's an Air Force base, there's a visitation center. You get dropped off there, and then they call for one of the COs to come pick you up, and they take you to intake. They drive. It's about a 10-minute drive into the base.
And you self-surrendered, right?
Yeah, I rented a car, drove all the way from Miami to Alabama, dropped off the car at the airport, and then took a cab to the visitation center.
What was the drive like turning yourself into federal prison?
Oh my goodness, it was nerve-wracking. It was also so weird. It's like I'm driving myself to prison. This is crazy. Just had a lot of time to think, reflect. Actually, because I was so paranoid, I arrived at night early.
To the prison or to the area?
To the area, checked into a hotel.
Thought you joined in a day early.
Yeah, no. I just got to make sure I got there early, so I was there and I early stayed at a hotel.
So it's so weird driving yourself to prison. It's I did the same thing, and it's like the weirdest feeling in the world. It's like, man, what is this real? I forgot. Did you have kids?
Do I have kids? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And how old? Oh, you got a bird too. I saw the bird in the background. How old were your kids when you went in?
18 and 19.
Oh, it's okay. So they were older, so they grasped.
In college.
So what were the jobs like? What did you have to do when you got there? Because now you obviously weren't there during COVID, so you were there during better times. But what was the day-to-day operation like for you?
Yeah, lucky. I was released from. I was in home confinement when COVID hit, and that was like that day. I think it was March 19th, 2020. I got released from the halfway. I was in home confinement, but I got officially released. So it was like so I was really lucky. I got out right in time, or I would have been called back to the halfway house and had to stay there. But what was the question? Sorry. Just like
what's the day-to-day like there? What kind of jobs?
Yeah.
How did you interact with other inmates?
Yeah. Ironically, I thought I'd be the only cop there. There wound up being 5 other ex-cops. one of them was in a major controversy with in Louisiana. I guess there was a shooting, and he kind of, tried to cover it up. And he was like the officer, commanding officer at the time. So he wound up being the boss next to me. I'm on it. Hey.
Shake him down. Do the shakedown, Mike.
Yeah. So there wound up being like there's a sheriff from Tennessee. It is, so it wound up being like 5 of us that we'd hang out and talk to each other. As far as jobs, I initially had a landscaping job. Actually, that's all I had. But initially, I had to go to another Air Force base and do.
Which one? Where at?
It was another. What's it called? The Air Force base had 2 bases.
Okay, gotcha.
One was smaller, is about a 30-minute drive.
Okay.
So I did that for a while. It was pretty much mowing or weed whack or the blower, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then I was able to get a job on site where I didn't have to take the bus 30 minutes. A lot of guys like it because you got to go off and get out for 30 minutes.
You get a little like scenery, a little scenic view.
Yeah, but I didn't like it because you were going, you had to go, come lunch, and go back out again. So I was able to get a job on the.
And I imagine they'd have to strip search you every time going and leaving and coming back on the compound.
No. You were on a bus, and there was none of that.
Okay, none of that.
But the funny thing is, I got a job as a blower because they cut the grass on the grounds there, and then we'd kind of just blow the sidewalk or the leaves. So it's a much easier job, and we only actually worked half a day. And believe it or not, this my supervisor, not supervisor, but he was kind of leader of our group, was Jeff Skilling from Enron.
Oh, he was there when you were there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was, and we were in the same group, and he was like kind of the leader.
So going in as a police officer, kind of, what were your thoughts prior to going in, having that label and going into a place like prison where you hear such horror stories?
Yeah, I was definitely scared. Didn't know what was going to happen, how I'd be treated. And then after a couple hours, I realized nobody cared. Everyone's on their, who's in the minimum security on their way out. So no one's going to cause any trouble. If they don't like you, they just don't talk to you. That's pretty much it. But you're not treated badly or anybody trying to get out to get you. It's just pretty much and there's also no politics. Everyone hung out with everybody. Hispanic.
Did you see anything? Was there, obviously nothing really happens at camps and lows. Like you said, there's no politics, not a whole lot of violence. Was there anything that stuck out to you that was like, wow, I didn't expect this to see this at prison?
As far as
like, was there any types of violence at all? Was there any shenanigans? Was there any scams going on? Was there anything to be worried about? Like, is there anything, somebody that's getting ready to go in to a similar type of a prison facility, is there anything that you think they should be concerned about that you didn't process through your mind at the time?
As far as I'd like to say, as far as if you want to stay out of trouble, is I guess some guys got in trouble with gambling. They kind of do like some betting thing where they pass around numbers of football games and baseball games, and the currency there was max. Some prisons it was stamps, but they used max, these mackerel bags of fish. But they were worth $1, so that became the currency of the prison. So some of these guys would get heavily in debt. And
did you ever think mackerel would be a form of a currency anywhere?
That's why I learned. Currency is whatever everyone agrees to.
Yeah.
Like the digital currency. Now I realize, okay, Bitcoin, everyone agrees it has value, so it has value. So in a prison, everyone agrees this bag of mackerel has value. It has value.
Yeah, we used mackerel and stamps. Both of them had a monetary value to them.
Yeah, they had a limit. I think $10 in stamps or something where we were. So.
And you served how many months? You were given 40.
I got 48. Got a year off for RDAP, and then I got 9.5 months of
halfway house
and home confinement. So I wound up doing 20 months there.
20 months in, okay. And was it easier or harder than you imagined it being?
so much easier. Again, it was. I was so lucky. I go. This is prison. This is. I mean, the only bad part is you couldn't leave, but there's so much to do. Like, and I was in the band room. I was in the band. I sing, learned guitar. I was doing yoga. I'm, playing tennis, playing pickleball. Of course, there's movie night. They have a movie every night. So it was almost ridiculous in a way.
So is it fair to say that that bird is adorable? Is it fair to say that the hardest part about the whole process was from the time you found out you're under investigation, indictment, all pre-trial, everything basically prior to going in?
Yeah, we spoke through that whole time from January till I didn't go until October.
Man. 2000. You went in in 2017.
Yeah, January is when they first came to my house, and I pled in May, and then I went away October 2017. So yeah, all that whole year was just again, the unknown is the worst.
The worst part. Yep.
You don't know what's going to happen. And then a couple hours in, while I was there, all of a sudden it all went away. I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be all right.
What was the spending limit there? How much money could you spend per month?
Was $360, I think.
And they didn't have tablets when you were there, right?
No. I heard you talking about that earlier, like tablets.
Yeah, you can watch movies and stuff on there, but a movie ends up costing you about $6 for a one-time viewing of it.
So this is at FPC Montgomery, they have that?
Yeah. My client was he's telling me that they could purchase movies. How much was the email when you were there? Do you remember? When I was there, it was 5 cents per minute.
I think it was up to
because he said that now it's 15 credits for one session.
I think it was 10 credits.
10 credits? Okay. So yeah, it's gone up quite a bit. But then right now they're not charging for phones because of COVID, so nobody's paying anything for the phones. And I think they're still getting 500 minutes per month, unless they've already brought that back down to normal.
Did they increase the amount of time you could make? That was annoying. Was the phone? I think you do only
300.
Yeah, 300 minutes a month, and then you get extra minutes during the holiday.
And then like November, December, they give you an extra. Right now, I think they're giving everybody 500 minutes or 500 minutes all month or all year round and I don't think they're charging yet.
Oh wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that definitely helps keep ties with the community.
Towards the phones, and of course, you only had half those minutes. So
did you have any visits while you were there?
Yeah, my fiance visited, and my kids.
What was visitation like? Like the visitation room? How long could you visit for? Pros and cons.
They could come as often as they wanted, so there was no limit. It was visitation was Saturdays, Sundays only, so they can come both days they want. They can come every weekend if they wanted to.
How long was a visit?
It was 10 a.m. to 9 a.m. Might have been 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
So you get a full day of visitation.
Yeah, exactly. There's no. You didn't have.
What was the setting like? Were you sitting outside, inside, both?
It was like one large room, and then they also had an outside with benches and little walk around. Some people could lay out in the grass if they wanted to. They had a bunch of vending machines, so you could buy hamburgers or whatever to throw in the microwave, or popcorn. There's candy, soda. That's where we got to kind of splurge.
And those are bought by obviously the visitors.
They would have to. You have to bring in a bag, clear bag, with all your money, so they can change and money. You only can bring in how much you can bring in.
Right.
But you had to have a clear bag, and they would look at it and see how much you had. And of course, they would have to. You couldn't handle the money. They handled the money, and they would have to buy.
Who handled the money? The staff or the?
Your friends.
Or your family. Okay.
Yeah, couldn't touch the money.
And so when you have somebody come visit from 9 or 10 in the morning until like 3 in the afternoon. Would you ever find yourself going, man, I'm so happy they came to see me, but what am I going to do for 8 hours sitting here?
Yeah, but it goes fast. They also have movies for kids, like cartoons and stuff. They also have games you can play if you want to play a game like Uno or Monopoly or whatever, checkers, chess.
Oh, they have games. Oh, so they have games you can play with the family.
Yeah, that you could. There's a toy room. You go and check out whatever. So you keep busy.
So when the visitation would end, I never had any visits because Shelly was obviously in prison with me.
Right.
My kids lived in New York City. I was in Florida. My friends would have came and saw me, but I was like, hey, I'm going to try to get in and out of here as quick as possible. So no one came. But every time I saw somebody come back from visitation, it was almost like reliving their self-surrender day where they would come back from visitation. They'd go lay in their bunk. It would take them sometimes an hour to 2 hours to process because it was kind of like saying goodbye to your family all over again.
Yeah, you definitely go through a little depression.
Yeah.
When that weekend's over, that does happen. Yes.
How was communication with you and your family while you were in? Was there ever any time where because in prison time stops for us, but the free world, it keeps going. Did you ever find yourself getting short, or did you have to remind yourself that, hey, I did this to myself, I put myself here? How was that with the family?
Well, yeah, RDAP, like I said, RDAP, it's supposed to be a drug treatment program, but what it does is it changes the way you think, So I was able to put things in perspective, again, you learn that, you put yourself here and, and you have to try to make, instead of stressing your family, I got to make their lives as easy as you can from inside and don't stress them out and don't demand anything. And just try to be, and again, that RDAP changed me a lot. It changed my way of thinking. Like the second day in, the guy who's in charge of our group says, "Oh, I know what you are. You're a people pleaser." Said, "What's a people pleaser?" And then I realized, I was a people pleaser, and that's one of the reasons I got into trouble. Instead of arguing and saying, "No, I'm not going to do that for you," I avoided the conflict, and I just did it, even though I didn't want to do it. And that was one of the reasons I went to prison. I didn't make any money from it. I did it as a favor. So I was one of the two guys who did a crime, and didn't make any money.
Did he get in trouble too?
Oh yeah.
How much time did he get?
He got 10 years.
10 years. Okay, a little bit longer.
He got 2 years off for me for handing me up.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. Man. So the day it all went down at the airport, did they stop you at the airport?
No, they never knew. It was 5 years. It happened in 2012. And then somebody told on him, and then just the time off was told on me. So they never knew. It was like a victimless crime.
Wow. So they found out 5 years later.
Yeah. I mean, he was a police officer too. So
okay. For Miami?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty much, I did it so he could have protection while he was down there for him and his friends. That's right. Because as a cop, you're used to carrying a gun. So that's why I kind of said, I want you to be safe down there. So that was my rationale.
Well, what advice would you have, Mike, what advice would you have for potential police officers or anybody that's in, police or correction staff that is facing a federal prison sentence? What are some wise words you would give to them being where you've been?
Don't stress out. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be. Again, especially if you go to a minimum or a low. I guess there's some politics at low, but if you're going to a minimum, it's just the worst part is you're not going to be able to leave, but it's a chance to improve yourself. Like I was learning Spanish. Again, I was practicing guitar. I utilized the time to improve myself, doing a lot of reading. So it's just pretty much coming up with a routine and keeping yourself busy and occupied and working on a goal to what you want to do when you get out. So
and you came home July
2019.
2019, and you finished. You're finished with probation now, right?
Yeah.
So you're free and clear. So what do you do today? You're no longer a police officer, obviously.
Yeah. I work in information technology.
Okay. So
I got my degree. I got a bunch of certifications.
Did you do any of that in prison?
they didn't have. Unfortunately, they wouldn't offer any classes because they thought we were going to learn how to become hackers, which is absurd. But what started was when I was at the halfway house. One of the places that you could go for, if you want to learn something career-wise, they offered a computer class at CompTIA A+ certification course.
Okay.
So, I always want to work in computers, so I started taking that course. Then I took the certification, I passed the test, and then I started my journey of working towards a degree and getting more certifications.
A lot of people coming home, they're fearful that their felony conviction is going to ruin their lives, especially when it comes to the dating world, the working world, the social life. How much of an impact has your felony conviction had on holding you back in life?
Well, luckily, relationship-wise, I was a minority, and about 85% of the guys in prison, their wives divorced them, left them, or their girlfriend left them. So it is hard to maintain a relationship.
Man, that's reassuring.
I got to tell you the truth. So I was one of the lucky ones as far as relationship-wise. But when you get out, it is an uphill battle because I've probably been offered 20 positions, and then of course after the background check, they rescinded. So it was an uphill battle. My first IT job was working from home for Apple support, and luckily when they did the background check, they didn't do it at the federal level. They only did it at
state level,
local and state. And I was like, so that got me at least the experience. I was working on my degree. So when I had the degree and experience and all of this stuff, and then when it would come up, some places would ask, okay, what happened? Some places just say, no, it's a felony. We can't use it. So it is an uphill battle, but you got to. It's a numbers game. You've got to keep applying, keep making yourself a valuable commodity. Because now I have 8 certifications, I have my degree, and plus I got a nice resume. So now when they see it, especially this job market, they can overlook your criminal history if you have.
Yeah, especially now they're so desperate for people to work in so many fields. Do you feel like you were institutionalized at all?
A little bit. Towards the end, I got into the routine, and if that routine got broken, I would get agitated. So then, even when I got out, there was a routine. I had to take my shower at 9 p.m., exercise in the morning. So there was some of that. And
going through it now, thinking back, when you hear about all these guys that were getting divorced. That's probably a question a lot of guys are going to ask. Why were these divorces that you think were already brewing, or what do you think kind of catapulted that? I can understand if somebody was down for 20 years, but we're talking people that are, serving rather short sentences.
Yeah, it was all different scenarios. Some was, guys who no longer had money, they left, the wife and girlfriend left. Again, every scenario was different.
Right. We have a client right now. Well, not a client, a person we were helping. He just got served divorce papers. I guess he left his phone behind, and the wife went through the phone, and there were some things that shouldn't be in the phone. And it's already hard. It's already a lot. Like you're with the same. You were with your fiance then, right?
Yeah. We were already together at that time for 8 years.
And it's a lot. It's already a lot to ask of someone saying, "Hey, look, I'm getting ready to go to prison. I need you to put your life on hold for the next year or two while I go in." And then once you get there, they're already willing to do all of this, and then to find out you were being unfaithful in the relationship, they start seeing text messages. Did you see a lot of the communication with these guys? Was they were still kind of trying to run things from the inside and not really having a lot of empathy for their loved ones on the outside?
Yeah, there were guys like that that'd be yelling and screaming when the money wasn't sent, or they'll come visit, or they're not getting sent what they're supposed to be getting, whatever it is they needed. So I did see some guys who weren't very sympathetic to their loved one's situation on the outside. It was all about them, very selfish, self-centered. Some of them are sociopaths, and
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Look, I don't want to take up your day. I know it's like dinner time over there and you just got home, but and this wasn't planned. Mike saw the video thumbnail and shot me a text. He's like, hey, if you remember, I went there. So if you want, I'll come on and jump on for a few minutes. So maybe we'll have you come back on because we're going to, we've got a client there. So we're going to do, it'd be great to see the contrast. We're going to do like the first 30 days in, then the second month in, we're going to kind of track them every month and hearing what he's dealing with like post-COVID versus what it was like while you were there prior to COVID. It would really be cool to hear the contrast. So if you're willing to do this again in a few weeks, that'd be great, Mike.
It sounds like his situation is even better because he's definitely guaranteed a bottom bunk, and there's probably all you can eat food and tablets. I mean, it's almost a vacation.
His email read like a letter you write home from summer camp. So, well, Mike, I thank you for joining us, man. Guys, we'll check back in with Mike in a couple of weeks, see where everything's at, and we'll get a little contrast on this. But Mike, thank you so much. I appreciate you hopping on here for a few minutes.
My pleasure, Dan.
All right, Mike. Talk to you soon, buddy. Bye.
Okay.
All right. So that was Mike Fresco, guys. For those that if maybe some of you remember, Juan, you're asking where Todd is. I don't know. I haven't heard from Todd. Todd's gone. He's gone MIA. He's no longer in prison, but he hasn't reached back out yet. Juan, who is this? Car Chick. Did I say the name right? Car Chick 66. Thank you for the updates. Clearly, she's up to speed on what's going on with the BOP with emails and whatnot. And it sounds like she's got a loved one in the USP, and she's talking about how the tablets will be coming there soon. So yeah, so tablets, things are different now than what they used to be in the BOP. The First Step Act, RDAP, halfway house. There's a lot of things that can help you process your time a little bit quicker. But the big problem is for a lot of people that are going in right now that have short sentences, 24 months, 28 months, 30 months, that are trying to get into RDAP as soon as they can. It's not as easy as it was because the classes are so backed up. They have smaller groups. COVID keeps kind of resurfacing and they keep putting things on hold. So there's a lot of wrenches that can be thrown into the game plan that can potentially push back release dates, stop you from getting into RDAP. Guys, as you see on the top of the banner here, if you want to book a free consultation, there's a link in the description of the video. Free consultation, find out what we might be able to do to help your situation. And if you or anybody is going to be going to Montgomery FPC and you want some insight, you have some questions, we've got clients in most facilities. If you have some questions about other prison camps, most of our clientele are in camps. Some of them are in lows, and we do have some sparse clients that are in, mediums and penitentiaries. But the average person that's taking advantage of what we're doing, using our services, getting help with prepping for prison, personal narratives, character reference letters, prepping for the pre-sentence report, the PSR interview, what you can do to shorten your sentence with RDAP, how the First Step Act applies, second chance there's just a lot of different moving parts here, guys. So if you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself for the best possible outcome, you want to reach out and get yourself a free consultation, because that's what we do over here at Federal Prison Time Consulting. That's all I got for you guys today. Just wanted to touch base, give a little update on Montgomery. If you found this video helpful or resourceful and you want to leave a comment, please do so. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We're going to be doing a kind of a mastermind group here in the next few weeks where we're going to have a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday group. The link's not in this video, but it will be in this video by the time others watch it. If you're interested in the group, we're going to max it out at eight people per group. So 8 participants per group. It'll be a weekly goal. So there'll be 8 people per week for 10 weeks. And then, of course, if you want to do it after that, if you want to continue or go into a different level, we can do that as well. So yeah, guys, RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting, people up in people, communities method, one day at a time. I thank you guys all for hanging out, for watching the videos. And if I can do anything to make your day a little bit easier, guys, let me know. I'm out of here. RDAP Dan. Peace.